Hi guys, so today's video is going to be grades 9 and 10, but I just wanted to put this up first because I don't want that video to be really long. So I just wanted to cover a few things here and yeah, that'll make the high school video make more sense. So the first thing you'll notice is that grade 8 seems to be missing. I had no grade 8 year officially. I went from grade 7 to the special program for 2 years to grade 9. And so because I was in the special program for 2 years, when I started grade 9, I was a year older than the rest of the incoming students, which was never really an issue. In high school, I didn't get teased too much. Pretty much I existed, and that was about most students, how much they cared about me. I think it might have helped in terms of teasing that I was actually a year older because many kids from my elementary school were there because it was the same catchment area. So by being a year behind and being with kids who didn't know me from a hole in the wall probably helped in terms of me being teased. I wasn't teased. They viewed me as a special ed student, and they pretty much ignored me. And on that note about being a special ed student, having the diagnosis made a massive difference. This school very much recognized me as a special ed student. I had access to things. Um, and they really bent over backwards. And you'll see examples throughout this video, the next video, and then the grade 11, 12 video. You'll see examples of that. But one I want to discuss here is I had a spare period for almost every semester in high school, because they knew how big of an anxiety trigger homework was. And most students only get a spare period in grade 12. But I had one in almost every semester. And just to clarify, where I live, you have 2 semesters of high school that are 4 classes each, and then also a lunch break. So I used to have 3 classes, a spare period, and a lunch break. So that was one of the ways the school bent over backwards for me. I like that. I like that phrase. And in terms of being a special ed student and having access to things, so I've mentioned repeatedly that my school board is only maybe in the last few years have they really started special education classes. For the most part, it was throw them all in together. Because in theory, we're Catholic and we include everybody, and I'm sure in practice because it's cheaper. And the thing is, though, my school was newly built. It was like 2 years old when I started there. So they had some newer things that most of the schools in the board do not have in terms of special ed. Like I mentioned, being in the learning strategies class in the last video. So that's an example. And what this school had that was very different. So all the high schools in the board, they have, it's called the core resource room. So the special needs students who need aids all day, who come on special buses, that's where they're gathered in the morning. They eat their lunch there. They go there at the end of the day to get their stuff on and get to the bus. And usually one period of the day they do a life skills class in the core resource room with those students, and the rest of the day they sit in on the regular classes. So this school had that room, but they also had another room, which for some reason was also called the core resource room. I would call it like a test center. So if you had a learning disability, behavior disorder, whatever problem or challenge, you had this room to go to if you needed help on an assignment, extra time on a test. It seemed very well used. Lots of students access to services, including me. I actually was sort of in the middle. I accessed both rooms. The sort of full-blown special ed room, whatever you want to call it, I accessed more in grades 9 and 10. I got more comfortable eating in the cafeteria and doing my own thing before classes started. I got more comfortable as the grades went on. But having that room to go to in those early grades was a godsend because there was no way I could handle the cafeteria. Having EAs, having people help me organize, just overall having a diagnosis and being recognized as a special ed student did amazing things for me. And the school itself and the wonderful staff. High school was very, very different from elementary school. Excuse me. The only thing, sorry, I'm looking at my paper. The only thing that I'm not 100% thrilled about looking back, although it's moot now, in my school board in high school, you have the applied stream and the academic stream. Kids in the applied stream are usually headed towards college, what they would call community college in the States. and kids in the higher stream are headed towards university, so the course material is a little higher. And without asking me, they stuck me in the applied stream. And on the one hand, in terms of the workload, that's probably better. But on the other hand, you get more kids in that stream who have some might have an actual behavior disorder, some might just be immature and badly behaved. But overall, you get a lot more like characters, if you know what I mean. And teachers have a harder time, a lot more behavior. And I feed off of the energy around me, especially when I was younger. So sometimes I think I would have had a slightly even easier time, but then other times I think it would have been harder if I'd been in the academic stream because of the workload. So at the end of the day, I don't know if that was the right decision or not. Would have been nice to have some input, but I finished high school. Here I am, so it worked. So I'm going to conclude this, and I'm going to jump into grades 9 and 10 in my next video. Thank you.